Welcome to another episode of PC Building Simulator. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far today. In the last episode, we hit max rank. We've unlocked all the new parts. Everything that is left to be unlocked has been unlocked. If you look up in the upper right hand corner, you can see I'm a maxed out level 34. So there's really not much left to do. I don't know if I want to just keep doing email jobs just to make some money. I've got an inventory full of junk, full of parts, used parts, new parts, things I've gotten from PCBay, things that have come out of PC upgrades. So much stuff, it's time to get rid of some of those used parts. So for the next few episodes, I'm probably going to be building PCs from used parts that I have in my inventory. We're going to list them on eBay, and even though I'm not doing email jobs, we'll probably still end the day at the beginning of each episode, except for this one. That way we can progress through the PCBay listing, and we can still see what these things end up selling for together. Like I said, we'll probably be doing this for the next few episodes, at least until PC Building Simulator maybe comes out with an update, or I think there's some new DLC that may be on the horizon that I can't really talk about yet. So let's build a couple of mid-range-ish PCs today. Probably in the next episode, we'll build something a little more high-end. And probably a couple of episodes from now, we're going to build a couple of fully water-cooled beasts, because I know I've got some top-end graphics cards as well as some really top-end CPUs and motherboards. So let's get started here. We got this nice little case, this Corsair Graphite Series 380T. I've got a couple of tiny little motherboards that will definitely fit in this build. So let's take a look here. Motherboards, I've already got fits this PC. I want to go with this Asus ROG Strix X470i gaming motherboard. We'll save the other one, the X570, for another build. But let's use this one in this build. And I'm going to get this thing ready for a CPU and probably just one stick of RAM. This is going to be a pretty low-end build. Something that, you know, you may just want to take over to a friend's house to game on, not your main gaming rig. Alright, so for CPUs, we've got these nice, you know, a 3900X, the 3800X. I'm going to go with the Ryzen 5 2600. I know it's a little bit older, but it'll get the job done, especially if this is just your travel PC. It'll work just fine. Now, for RAM, I want to see if I have any 3600 megahertz. I don't. What's the fastest? Well, this is the fastest. We've got some 4600. That's way too fast. Some 3200 will be fine. I really wanted 36 because most Ryzen seems to like the 3600 speed or faster, but I think we could get away just fine with some 32. That's what I was looking for, a 16 gig stick of 3200 megahertz RAM. I'm going to go with that. Let's go ahead and get that and pop it in here. The RGB on it isn't really going to matter just because I don't think you're really going to be able to see too much inside this case. I mean, it is ventilated, so you get a little bit of light through there, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I'm not really sure how we're going to cool this thing, because if I remember right, putting water cooling in here, there is a rail back here on this side that you can put like a 240 on, but in this game they don't seem to fit very well. So let's take a look and see what we have before we start looking at graphics cards. Let's go for this Arctic Freezer 33 Esports 1 in white. Since this case is white, maybe the cooler should be white. Dang, that thing barely fits. Does it fit? It actually doesn't fit, but the game doesn't seem to care. You can see right up here at the top, it is inside this metal brace. So technically doesn't fit, but we're gonna just go with it. We're gonna just go with it. All right, now we need some storage. We're probably just gonna go with a conventional SSD. Oh, we do have a 3 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. That's nice. We're gonna put that in another build. We got a 512 here. That's not too bad. I think the 256 might be a little small. We've got a Gigabyte 480. Let's just go with the 480. I believe that slots in right here. There we go. Perfect. Next, we are going to need a power supply. So let's see, what can we get away with? Probably about 550 watts. Just because even the lower end Ryzen stuff seems to like some power. Don't know if I have anything like that. I think I got a 250 up at the top. Oh, here's a 550. Let's go with that. Let's go with this FSP Hydro PTM 550 watt in red. Not that that's going to matter. You're not going to see it down here. Let me unplug that because I want to go ahead and put the PSU mount back on. There we go. And finally, we need a graphics card. Can I open this up? There we go. Now, what would pair well with the 6-core 2600? Let's take a look. Let's see what I've got here. Got a 1080 Ti. That would be nice. Here's a 1080 Mini. That would fit well in this case. We could even go with a 2060. Here's a 1660. So many graphics cards. I have so many. Here's a 3070. Another 3070. And these are just the ones that fit this PC. I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then I've got even more that don't fit. We got a nice pair of 2080 Ti Amp Extremes. We're going to put those in a build probably in the next episode. But let's go back with fits this PC. This EVGA is saying that it fits this case, but I really don't think it does because it's a 3-slot. And I only removed 2. Yeah, it can't fit. What? I did fits this PC, and it says it fits, but it doesn't really because it's 3 slots wide. So that is a lie. Maybe we'll go with this 1080 Ti Founders Edition. That would be good. That'd be real good because it can pull in air from the outside because the side of this case is mesh. And the way that these older Founder Editions cards like this work, they pulled air in here and exhausted it out of the back of the card. So that would help keep the inside of this case even cooler since it's already kind of a tight case. I think we're ready to cable this though. Let's get some cables. I think I'm just going to go with white. This case is white, so why not just use white cables? We get everything cabled up here. Front panel connector. There we go. This fan. What is that? Is that? Oh, that's the CPU cooler. Okay. The wire was sitting up on top of it. That was weird. Okay, so I think this PC is done. Except for, oops, PCI lock and the side panels. And then we're going to start this thing up. We're going to run a 3D Mark test. May overclock it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Let me get a USB drive in here. Back out a little bit. Power this on. I'm going to hop into the BIOS and make sure I don't need to turn on XMP or anything. Oh, I do. RAM speed's running at 2666. There we go. That's much better. CPU's running at 3900 megahertz. That's not too bad. Might be able to get that up to 4000. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let's go ahead. Let's apply these changes. We're going to let this thing go ahead and install the operating system. There we go. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and put 3D Mark on. This is not the fastest SSD. In case you were wondering, I'll put the lighting app on. I don't know if I'm really going to need it or use it. Also, a GPU tuner. Once this finishes installing, I'm going to put on OCCT. There we go. All right, let's restart this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a 3D Mark test. I want to get a baseline score of what this PC's getting. Then I'm going to try to overclock a few things. I'll probably step away and do that because I already have tutorials showing how to overclock. I'll get everything overclocked and then we'll come back and see if we can get a better score. But I'm going to let this finish running, and as soon as it's done, I'll come right back. All right, so there it is. 7,762. Not the greatest score ever. Watching that CPU test was painful, though. Barely getting 20 FPS and 19.37. Ouch. And that's not so great either for the graphics tests. Didn't even hit 60 FPS on the graphics test number 1, which, you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to step away. I'm going to get this overclocked as best I can, and then we'll come back and we will run another 3D Mark test and see if we get a score that's a little bit better.
20 minutes later.
All right, so I've gotten everything overclocked. On the CPU, I got it to 4100 megahertz, so 4.1 gigahertz, which isn't too bad. 200 megahertz over the stock clocks. And then for the GPU, we are plus 495 on the core clock and plus 400 on the memory clock. And honestly, it would go further than that. The problem is remember I put a 550 watt power supply in this build. Look at our power draw. Our max is 549. So we are at the absolute max. I'm pretty sure if it hits 550, it would probably crash. And it was trying to go over 550 as I was continuing to overclock. I don't want to put a more powerful power supply in here, so we're just going to leave it like it is. I have not run a 3D Mark test, though. I've just got OCCT running. It just crashed. I just finished fixing the overclock on the GPU, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I mean, obviously, we are pretty close to our max on CPU temp. We are at almost 91C. GPU temp could probably go up a little bit more. Usually in the 90s is where it starts crashing, and we aren't quite at 90 yet. So, I think it's good, though. For a PCBay build, I think we're going to be just fine. So I want to get 3D Mark running and see if we get better than our previous score, which was a 7762. So I'm going to step away. If this thing blue screens, crashes, whatever happens, or if it makes it all the way to the end and gets a score, I will come right back and show you. Wow, what an improvement. 10,004. 10,004. CPU test did not improve all that much, but our graphics score sure did. If you remember right, in the last test, we didn't hit 60 FPS on graphics test 1 or 2. Now on 1, we are over 73, and on 2, we are over 66. So that is definitely an improvement. I think we're going to pull a decent amount of money for this thing. Resale value is now sitting at around $2,053, so hopefully when we list this on PCBay, we'll get a couple of grand. So let's grab a PCBay sticker. Let's put that there. I'm just going to leave it sitting on the workbench for now, and eventually I'll get it put over there. But let's get started on this next build. So we've got this MSI MPG Secura 500p case. Let me get this case opened up. This is kind of a cool case. This is a pretty cool case, actually. And I think I know what motherboard. I'm pretty sure I saw it in here. I think we've got, yep, here it is right here. An MSI MPG Z390 Gaming Pro Carbon. A couple of generations ago, this was a decent motherboard. And I think I may have a 9900K we might pop in here. I know that's not necessarily a mid-range PC, but, you know, got a 9700K. We could do that. Oh, I don't have a 9900K. I thought I did. I may have used it in another build. Well, let's go with the 9700K. I think that'll be really nice in here. And then let me get this ready for some RAM. We'll probably only going to have one stick of RAM in here. But let's take a look. Let's take a look, because I don't think I had two sticks of matching 3200. Some Trident Z Neo. Got another 16 gig stick of RAM here. Got the HyperX Fury 16 gig. It would be nice to have a matching pair. I just don't think I have anything that matches. But let me step away for a moment, because we could always overclock the RAM. Let me step away for a moment. Let me see if I have 2 sticks of RAM that match, because that will get us a little bit better 3D Mark score. So I'll be right back. All right, so I think I've found 2 matching sticks of RAM. I've got 2 of these HyperX Fury 16 gig 3466 megahertz right here. So let's stick 2 of those in. That'll be a nice 32 gigs of RAM. And 3466 is not slow, that's for sure. That is for sure. Do those look like they're mounted weird? Maybe they're not. No, I think they look all right. They look like they were sitting a little bit low, like they weren't connecting up in here, but I think they're okay. It must have just been an optical illusion. All right, so we've got the 9700K. We've got 2 16 gig sticks of RAM at 3466 megahertz. We should put an NVMe drive in here if I happen to have one. See, we've got a gigabyte NVMe. That wouldn't be too bad. Oh, we've got a 1 terabyte here. That would be good. Let's see, anything else? Got a bunch of these Patriot Viper ones. That's also a 1 terabyte. And more Patriot Viper. Man, there's a 2 terabyte. I'll save that for another build. Maybe, I think this one's RGB. It is. Lighting, RGB. That might show up right here. Let's go ahead and mount that one. Put a 1 terabyte NVMe drive in here. That might speed things up just a little bit. Now for cooling, let's see what we have. Do we have any water cooling that might fit? We've got a 240 cryo rig. Let's see, we've got a 240 Silverstone. 240 Gamerstorm Castle RGB. That would look nice in this case. Ooh, that might be what we do. Where would that like to fit? Possibly the front or the top? Probably the top. It looks like hoses look a little stretched out to go to the front. So let's get the top of this case taken off. We have to take anything else off? Was that it? Just the one little piece? Just that one little piece had to come off? All right. All right, that's cool. Let's get this mounted up here in the top of the case. This case is so big, it makes that little 240, or not really little, it makes that 240 look little. We also really don't have any case fans in this case. I think we should see if we can get some case fans. We've got some Thermaltake rings right here that are RGB. Those are 140 mil. Will those fit? Oh, they will. What about here in the front? Should definitely get some cooling in the front. And I really want to use as much used parts as I can, so let's see. Man, if I had 3 of these, I bet we could get a 3rd one down there. This thing's so big. Apparently, those were the only 3 that I had. Oh, geez. I mean, we could put in some Corsair. Well, those are 2 140s. That's the problem with using used parts. I got tons of fans. They don't all match. Do I have any matching? Oh, I got a bunch of... Don't really have a whole lot of 140s. All right, well, what we have here will work, I think. I think it'll be just fine. Let me go ahead and put this front panel back on. You're really not going to see those. You're really not going to see those. Okay, so the real question now comes, do we want to vertical mount the graphics card? Let's remove this. Let's get that out of the way. Let's see if we have a graphics card that will actually fit there. Something, I want something decent. Like at least a 20 series, like a 2070, 2080, 2080 Ti. Even a 30 series card wouldn't be too bad. Not that 3090 though, that is way too much. Got a 3070, that could be good. 2080 Super from Gigabyte. Why do I have a broken 3080? Let's get rid of that. I don't need a broken 3080. Got 2070 Founders. That's not even a Super. Let's go for this Gigabyte Aorus RTX 2080 Super. I think that'll look nice. It kind of blends with the colors here. So I think we'll be good with that. Then we need a power supply. And I don't want to cheap out on this one. I want at least a 750. Here's an EVGA. Here's a Corsair. Here's a 750. Let's do this Gigabyte 850. There we go. There we go. Now, does this go back on? It does. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Now we need to cable this sucker up. Also, I want to put this top panel on because I think we're done with that. But I want to cable this sucker up. Problem is, I wish I knew what color I wanted to make everything in here. So, ooh, I meant to go to cables. For cables, maybe we'll do some cyan. I do like cyan. Do I have any other cyan? Got the ribbon braided cyan. We've got the cyan and black, the cyan and white. That would look nice. Maybe we'll do the cyan and white. Oh, yeah. We'll make all the light cyan. I think that'll look pretty nice here. You get everything cabled up. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and close these monstrous glass doors. Perfect. So we're showing a resale value of a little over $1,000. I'm sure when we get done running 3D Mark a couple of times, it will be much higher than that. Let me go ahead and power this up. Oh my gosh, colors are all over the place. I'm going to hop into the BIOS real quick. I want to turn on XMP so we can get our 3466. We may try to overclock this to 5 gigahertz. I don't know yet. CPU temp is already quite high, so I don't. Why is it at 8? Did I forget to put thermal paste on there? I may have. Should we check? You guys are supposed to, like, say something if you see me doing something stupid. I really don't remember. I could have sworn I put thermal paste on, but until I go back and watch the video, I won't know. Alright, let's get this thing remounted because 85C, whew, that's hot. Get this cabled back up. Get this door closed. If there wasn't thermal paste, there is now, and hopefully we will see in the BIOS if it's running cool. Oh, I did. I must have forgotten to put thermal paste on because now we're down at 42C. I'm sure we can overclock this some now. Goodness me, that was hot. 85C, whew. Without an overclock? All right, let's let this sucker boot up. Let's get 3D Mark on here. Let's get the lighting app on here. GPU tuner and OCCT. I'll let this sucker restart. Then I'm going to step away. I'm going to get everything. Actually, before I step away, I want to run a 3D Mark test. I forgot. I want to run a 3D Mark test so we can get a baseline score. So let me run the 3D Mark test. As soon as this is done and I have a score, I will come right back and show you. All right, there you have a baseline score of 10,119. Already better than the other PC we built, even after we overclocked it. So I'm going to step away. I'm going to get everything overclocked as best I can. And then we'll come back. I'll show you what all the overclocks are. We'll run another 3D Mark test and see what we end up getting. All right, this thing overclocked quite well. I mean, our temps are pretty dang hot. I mean, 96.41 C on the CPU and 95.31 on the GPU, but it is not crashing and it's not throttling. So I think we're good. The CPU is at 5.2 gigahertz or 5200 megahertz, which is 300 megahertz over the base clock. Then on the graphics card, we are plus 208 on the core and plus 150 on the memory. So hopefully we're going to get a decent score. I'm going to go ahead and turn this testing off. We're also pulling almost 600 watts. So I'm glad I put a decent PSU in there. Let's go ahead and close this stuff out. I'm going to get 3D Mark running. And if this thing blue screens crashes, or if it makes it all the way to the end and gets a score, I will come right back and show you. All right, there you have it, 11,527. Much better than the 10,119 that we previously had. Not going to complain. The CPU test did pretty good, and the graphics test did quite well. Quite well. So, let's take a look here. Our colors are crazy. I'm going to have to fix those colors. Our resale value is up to $3,157. I think we were just a little over $1,000 to begin with, if I remember right. Let's go here to lighting. I'm going to select these and then select all. Don't care about that. Let's go ahead and apply that. Let's see if that's kind of in the realm of the color. It's a little light. It's a little light. Let's see if we can darken it up just a bit. Maybe we'll come this way to here. Still needs a little more blue. Close. Close. The RAM is off. The RAM is off a little bit, but it's fine. It's a PCBay build. The new owner can worry about the colors. It looks much better than it did, though. Let's take a quick look at it. Actually, let me close this out. I think it turned out pretty nice, though. I mean, I'd put it on my desk if it wasn't so dang huge. I don't have a whole lot of desk space, and this PC case just looks massive. Just massive. All right, so... Oops, I still need to put the top back on this thing, don't I? It's going to shut it down. And I'm going to have to run 3D Mark all over again, because look at the resale value. Look at what it does. Why does it do that? Why does it do that? And then when it powers up, it went up a little bit more, but we need to run 3D Mark again. So I'm going to step away. I'm going to let this sucker run, and I'll be back when it's done. All right, 3D Mark's done. I think that's about the same score it got last time. But hopefully this time it'll stick. Let's go grab a PCBay post-it note. Get that listed on PCBay. So we got 2 builds done today. They were both listed. In the next episode, we're going to do a couple of more builds, and we will keep an eye on what these are going for, because I will still end the day so we can continue moving through the auction process and see what these things eventually sell for. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified as soon as a video goes live. Also, it really helps me out if you become a subscriber. Also, if you want to help support the channel, that would be so awesome. I've got a join button, which allows you to become a channel member, and I've got a couple of tiers down there for you to choose from. Also, if you prefer Patreon, I have a Patreon. There's a link to that in the description. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next episode.